How many times have you so much wished to get a result, but you couldn't find the energy to start or to sustain the necessary effort that will bring you to that result? If you face such an issue, be aware that we are billions of people like this. And yet, there is a solution, a good way to get rid of this difficulty to get started or to continue the necessary effort to get whatever you want to achieve. If I were to ask you, could you list down all the projects, all the achievements you'd like to have and where you are not on your way yet? If you're like most of the people, and if you do it seriously, you'd probably list down a couple of things that are worthy, but for which you haven't done the necessary effort yet. And by the way, if you want, you can pause this video and do the exercise by yourself. Now, why is it? The number one reason is that you didn't think enough on the benefits of having such result. And I'm going to illustrate this to you with personal and professional examples. And if you follow this same process, I'm pretty sure that for some, the ones that are the most important results, you are going to find ways to start and to sustain an effort. Here it is. The first time I wanted to get fit, I was still a teenager. I collected all the money I could, basically not that much. And with that money, I was able to go for 1 month of fitness center. I said to myself, now I put all the money I could collect. I'm pretty sure this 1 month will be extremely beneficial. Fast forward to 1 month. I went once and only once. Actually, after the first time, where I was pretty motivated, I went home and I kind of felt completely broken. My body didn't even understand what was happening to it. And because of that, because of this first shock, I never went back. Even if I paid, and even if that little money that I paid there was a huge amount for me. So, as a consequence, element number one, it's not because you invested something that you are going to continue. That will break your heart not to do it, but it's not enough. So forget about subscribing to gym or something just because you want to get fit. That's probably not the best way. I started running a couple of years ago, but this time I said to myself, why am I doing this? And I forced myself to this very specific exercise that I recommend to you, and that's part of the process. And that is, why do you want to do it? And look for as many good reasons as possible. And I came with this. I'd like to run because I want to get fitter. I'd like to run because I know that if I'm fitter, I will be more productive at work or at home. That starts to get a bit interesting. But here's the very best clue. It's when you start to find reasons that go beyond yourself. I'd like to get fitter because I want to be a role model for my kids. I want to get fitter because I want to be able to play with my kids even in 10 years' time when they will be teenagers and when I'll be in my 50s. And you know how it is. You have some people who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s and that are in a very good or relatively good health condition, but many others are not. And the reason is, part of it, lack of exercise. So when you try and incorporate reasons that go beyond yourself, you're going to get much powerful motivations, much powerful attraction towards that result. So look for higher reasons. List them down, whatever your target is, so that then you understand why it's important to do it. Now, the second thing that you can do as well that will help you list arguments, relevant arguments, is to say, what if not? What if I don't do what I believe I should do? And then list down all the things. What will happen to you down the road 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? And if you see that the picture is ugly, then again, this is going to repel you. And just like the goal is going to attract you, the not doing what you should do will repel you, and you're going to move towards that. If you haven't seen the video, by the way, I'm going to share with you the link of the 2 P's, which are 2 good ways to move forward or change organizations. Now, how do you deal with this on a professional level? Let's take a concrete, unsexy example. Let's say that your role is to go and adjust your organization on a given norm. There was a norm A and now it's norm B. And because you have to be compliant, you have to go from A to B. Now, realize this. If B was more favorable than A for the business, everybody would be at B already. So if they are at A, it's because probably B is costly in euros, in dollars, in time, in resources, so they don't want to go there. And you're the one who has to bring A to B. How do you do that? If you consider yourself as the painful person who brings the organization from A to B, you're probably not going to present yourself in a manner that they will be willing to follow you. Now, let's take it one step deeper. Why are you doing this? Yes, for compliance. What else? What does B bring versus A? For example, if we are talking about environmental norms where you have to pollute less, now you see that you can bring on the table arguments about contributing to a better planet, contributing to the health of our peers, of our kids, of our future generations. You can also say, thanks to that, our company is going to contribute more to the success of CO2 reduction, for example. So you can see that by giving deeper reasons, now you are able to embark more people, because people are not necessarily sensitive about going from A to B in terms of norms. Actually, who cares? But the thing is, the reason behind this can touch your heart, can give you reason to do the necessary effort. So as you see, just like for doing exercise because you have higher reasons, try in your professional world to see how you can identify these higher reasons that will make people follow you, do whatever is necessary to achieve that B, because it has a powerful meaning. So my invitation to you is this: list down the key projects, the key achievements, the key realizations you'd like to have in the next few years. And take the first one, the one that you believe is making the most sense, and say, why do I want it? Go down for reasons. Maybe some of them will be personal, some of them will be collective, some of them will be for humanity. As you go through this, you are going to find deeper and deeper reasons. And now you're much more aware of the damage that you do to yourself, to your peers, to humanity if you don't do that project. Go a little bit more. What if you don't do it? What else can happen? What else can go wrong? And now you have a bigger, more precise picture of the good reasons not to stay as you are, and you have the activation energy, the necessary energy to start. This is not a sufficient reason. You cannot just say, I have good reason, therefore I'm going to achieve it. Of course, you will have to develop self-confidence, you have to develop some rigor and discipline, and so on. And you'll see many of these advice on other videos. But the number one reason for people not to start or not to follow through is that they don't see the promise of the future, what the future can bring to them if they do all these efforts. The more you can see it precisely and extensively, the better it will be, the more you'll be motivated. Go on.